I never thought I would have the courage to tell anyone my story. For years, I've been hiding in the dark, too scared to stand up for myself. But I've come to the realization that no one's opinion matters. This is my story, and it needs to be told. I find myself constantly waiting for the inevitable judgment over my life. I've been judged in the past for every single thing I did, no matter how minor, and that's just where my story begins. For as long as I can remember, I've been bullied. All through elementary school, I endured verbal and physical bullying. Being called crazy and worthless eventually degrades who you are. Teachers and students both treated me like I was worthless. They treated me like garbage for no reason. I remember one time in elementary school when someone in my class stole my pencil sharpener. I went to go take it back and was accused of stealing it myself. The crazy part is that my initials were written on this pencil sharpener and I got suspended for taking it back. My teachers labeled me as a troublemaker for things I never did. I got in trouble almost every day for such minor things. Eventually, I got sick of it and I moved schools. Teachers always told you strategies to overcome bullying, but these strategies often had the opposite effect. Every time I tried to ignore what people were saying about me, they just said it louder or made things physical. Every time I stood up for someone else being bullied, I was labeled as a tattletale. All of this eventually got to me. I gave up on defending myself and became silent. People still bullied me. Sometimes I thought it was because I was too shy or quiet. Other times I thought it was about the way I dressed. I listened to all of the whispers and rumors about me. I took it all in and eventually started believing some of the lies myself. I believed I was hopeless and worthless. I took these insults and I believed them. Eventually, all of this took a toll on me. I developed anxiety. I hated going to school, and every time I heard someone whispering, I instantly believed it was about me. I believed the world was against me, but I was too scared to do anything about it. Looking back on it, it's hard to find a single moment when this all started. It's hard to remember the exact day I decided to give up and isolate myself from society. I used to fight what people said about me, but now all I can do is sit here and take it. I lay in bed every night, unable to fall asleep because it hurts when you finally realize that you don't deserve this. A few years ago, I was at my lowest point. I started self-harming. At the time, I felt numb. I fell into depression. I still don't know what's worse, believing the lies people told me or going completely numb and not caring anymore. Recently, I realized how destructive this habit has become. I realized how it ended up taking over my life. I knew I needed to stop. I reached out for support from friends and family. I look at how far I've come in these past few years, and I feel stunned looking at how ridiculous I was. I feel stupid that thinking taking my own life could have solved everything. I'm still getting used to trusting people and ignoring the rumors. I still struggle, and I do have bad days. But the one thing that has overall helped me was speaking up. Expressing myself has saved me. I found ways to feel something without wanting to harm myself. Now, instead of self-harming, I'll write poem after poem about everything that's wrong in my world. There's still days when I feel down, but finding people who I can trust has brought me so much hope. I finally found people who let me be myself. All of this has finally helped me see the good in life and appreciate the beauty in everyday things. This feeling, it can save someone who's felt so low for so long. Despite how immense the hope has become, there are still times when I feel down. I still get bullied. I still suffer from anxiety, and there are times when I fall back into depression. There are few people in this world who I can open up to. A lot of people make speaking up difficult with stigma. Majority of people have negative thoughts whenever they hear someone suffers from anxiety or depression. That's why it took me so long to speak up about it. I have, for the most part, stopped paying attention to stigma. I avoid the people I know will give me issues and keep my story vague when telling it to anyone I'm unsure about. This is why it's so important for people to speak up about their problems. Hiding your problems just degrades who you are. It makes living life to the fullest nearly impossible. I feel ashamed that hiding my problems so long, and I feel ashamed that telling my story is so difficult. Society has made it so hard to stand up for yourselves. They're romanticizing scars, but in reality, scars are not pretty. Self-harm is not a joke. People need to stand up for themselves, take responsibility for what they've done, and overall speak up about their problems. No matter how hard it gets, nothing's impossible. I'm not telling my story to benefit myself. I'm telling it for the victims of bullying. I want them to know that no matter how hard things get, there will always be some form of positivity. I'm telling my story for all the bullies, so just maybe they'll realize that their actions do have consequences. I'm telling it for every single person who feels like they don't belong. I'm telling my story because I need every single one of you to know this. Stigma needs to stop. We need to allow people to reach out for support, but most importantly, we need to not drag people down in the first place. As I said earlier, I wrote poems to express how I feel. I'm going to read you a poem I wrote that is called I Once Knew a Girl. I once knew a girl, her heart was bold, but her hands were shaking and cold. I once knew a girl with beautiful dreams, but she was tearing at her seams. I once knew a girl who hated dress-up pearls, but she was a masquerade she started to hurl. I once knew a girl who was so broken inside she wanted to die. I once knew a girl who tried to take her life all because she wasn't liked. I once knew a girl who never felt alive, who always told the same old lies, I'm fine. I once knew a girl who tore herself apart just to be the latest work of art. I once knew a girl who thought it was all about the show, but she didn't know. It's not about the show, it's not about the scars, it's about the millions of broken hearts not knowing who they are. It's about the broken dreams and how they used to gleam before believing what's on TV. It's about how far you've come, how far you'll go. You don't need to be a beauty queen or act like all the other teens. You don't need to dye your hair, wear high heels, or even care. You don't need to fit in with the crowd or follow their vows because it's not about the show. It's not about the way you dress, and I know they're trying to stress that it's all about the show, but that's not the way to go. It's about your beliefs and who you want to be. It's about reality, actuality. Vanity doesn't define you. If only she knew. Thank you.